All right, let's talk about cold email. If you're completely tired of all the advice that sounds great but gets you absolutely nowhere, then you are in the right place. Today, we're going to cut through all that noise and look at what 44 million, 44 million emails can teach us about what actually works. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at the big problem with cold email today. Then, we'll dive into the massive data set that gives us the real answers. We're going to bust some huge myths, uncover a few technical secrets that are total game changers, touch on LinkedIn, and then wrap it all up into a new playbook you can start using like tomorrow. And this quote right here, it really just hits the nail on the head. Most of the expert advice you see out there is just people recycling opinions, not actual data. And that leaves you with absolutely zero clarity on what you should really be doing to get replies. You know, the biggest issue usually isn't about not having some fancy AI workflow or a super clever personalization hack. Nope. It's that people are building all these complex strategies on top of a totally broken foundation, which means their perfectly written emails are going straight to the spam folder. So, this brings us to what we're really after: clarity. You don't need more information. You just need to know which specific things to change, which levers to pull that will actually truly boost your reply rate. And that's exactly what we're going to find out. So, to get that clarity, the team at Snove.io did something pretty huge. They didn't rely on stories or what they thought worked. They went straight to the source and analyzed a massive, real-world data set of email campaigns sent right from their platform. And this number, well, this is the number that gives us the truth. 44 million. That's how many emails they analyzed to figure out what separates a campaign that gets results from one that just doesn't. And just to be clear, this wasn't some tiny survey. We're talking about almost 800,000 different campaigns sent to millions of people. And the goal here was super focused. Forget all the vanity metrics and find out one thing. What actually gets a human being to reply? Okay, let's get right into the juicy stuff. Because honestly, some of the most interesting findings are the ones that go against everything you've been told. We're going to start with the common things people do that are actively killing their campaigns. This one is probably the biggest myth of all. For years, we've been told that you have to track your open rates, that it's a key metric for success. But what does the data actually say about it? The results are, well, they're kind of nuts. Campaigns that had open tracking turned off got a 1.4% reply rate, and the ones with it turned on, just 0.5%. That is nearly a threefold increase in replies just by flipping a switch and turning tracking off. So why on earth does this happen? Well, it's pretty simple. Email providers like Gmail and Outlook see those little tracking pixels as suspicious. Plus, the metric is totally unreliable anyway. It gets triggered by security bots all the time, not real people. And every single time that happens, it's a tiny little hit to your sender reputation. So the takeaway here is simple. Stop obsessing over open rates. It's a vanity metric. That's it. The only number that actually matters to your business is your reply rate. That is where 100% of your focus needs to be. And this busts another huge myth, that you need fancy emails with images and cool formatting. The data couldn't be clearer. Plain text gets the highest reply rate and the lowest bounce rate. The second you add an attachment, for example, your bounce rate just about doubles. Keep it simple. Okay, let's get a little technical for a second, because this next part is an absolute game changer. This is a simple, behind-the-scenes tweak that the data shows can literally more than double your engagement, and most people have no idea it even exists. It all comes down to how your email account connects to whatever tool you're using to send your campaigns. You've got the old standard method called SMTP, or you've got a direct, modern connection called the Gmail API. It sounds complicated, but trust me, the difference is massive. Just look at this. I mean, look at that difference. Accounts connected with the Gmail API got a 3.45% reply rate. Those using the standard SMTP connection, only 1.66%. That is more than double the replies just for picking the right connection type. It's wild. So what's going on here? Well, when you use the API, you're essentially borrowing trust directly from Google's powerful, super reputable servers. Your emails get sent through their trusted infrastructure, which makes them way less likely to get flagged as spam compared to sending from your own server, which has to build up its good name from scratch. And this data just drives the point home. See that? Emails sent within the Google world, from a Gmail to another Gmail, have the highest reply rate by far. And the worst performing? Microsoft and Microsoft. The Google infrastructure is just better for this kind of outreach, period. All right, so that's email. But what about LinkedIn? Well, it turns out that the same less is more idea that we saw with plain text emails, it applies here too. The numbers don't lie. Sending a connection request without a personalized message actually gets you a higher acceptance rate. Yeah, it's a small difference, but hey, in a numbers game, you take every single advantage you can get. And the psychology behind this is so simple. A request with a long message immediately feels like a sales pitch, right? It puts people on their guard. A clean, simple request is just a much easier yes. They can accept it in a second without feeling like they just got trapped in a sales funnel. Okay, so we've busted some huge myths. We've uncovered some powerful technical secrets. Let's pull all of these data-driven insights together into a simple, actionable playbook that you can actually use. So here it is, your new playbook, based completely on data. First, fix your foundation. Connect your sending account using the Gmail API, and for goodness sakes, turn off open tracking so you can focus on replies. From there, it's all about simplicity and trust. Send your first email as plain text, no fluff, and keep your LinkedIn invites message-free. It's all designed to help you sound less like a marketer and more like a real person. Look, you don't have to do all of this at once. Just implementing one of these, especially that switch to the Gmail API, can have a massive, massive impact. So that really leaves us with just one final question. Looking at your own campaigns, which of these simple changes are you going to make first?